Happy New Year, I suppose, is in order. We are here today. You've got me, Kev, Jace and Noel are both remote. Give us a wave. And then we've got two of our account managers. We have Rich from Harman. Give us a wave, mate. There you go. He's with us. And we've got Howard from Crestron.
There's proof right there that the industry can play nicely, right?
We haven't started yet. That depends what we're going to ask them.
We're here to prove that we can play nicely, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
That's it.
Without a doubt. It does help that they know one another.
Yeah.
So today's session is AV over IP. There has been a lot of talk about this last year. We're hoping it's going to progress more for what we see this year. So I suppose I'm going to start it off with whoever want to text it. 2019 as a year, what do we see? What are we going to get out of AV over IP?
For us, obviously our AV over IP product is MBX, and it's taken off massively. I know obviously AMX have had, or Harman have had SVSI for some time, but it's huge for us, and we're seeing a lot more opportunities in that market over traditional HD-based T matrices. Within the DM family of Crestron, so that's MBX, DMLI, DMPS and MBX, it accounts for a huge percentage of our business in the UK, and in fact globally. So I think that's only going to get stronger.
I totally echo that. The way we put it at Harman is that the AMX SVSI product kind of had its year of being seeded into the industry, probably last year and in particular the previous year. And we're now seeing the fruits of that, if you like. I mean, obviously, we've had this product on the market in various guises, when it was SVSI as a standalone company, and then when it was acquired by AMX. In total, about 10 years of selling this product and developing this product. But it's really only been the last 18 months we've seen the early adopters of the product into big projects, mass market projects. And I'd say in particular in this quarter, we've seen some of our biggest wins to date. And I think that, in my opinion, lays down a bit of an idea of how next year is going to be for all of us. And I think I could probably speak for Crestron there as well. I think 2019 is a very big year for networked AV.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that because of a shift in mindset by the user, do you think? Do you think they've changed their mind a little bit, grown up, ready to make the right decision?
I think so. I think what we've noticed is the people using the product are changing. So initially, the early adopters were almost entirely FE and HE universities, which is great because, great for both Howard and I, because we both operate very heavily in that market. But to be honest, the growth in the incremental area is going to be outside of FEHE, and that's where we're beginning to see our first projects.
Absolutely, especially actually education, but corporate. I mean, we've already had some big wins this year in the corporate marketplace, and next year the forecast looks like it's going the same way.
Yeah.
I think also the fact that AV and IT are now playing nicely together, so you're not having as much objections from IT network managers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That nearly knocked you off your chair then, didn't it?
Saying that, though, that is still our biggest challenge, and we face it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge even more for you guys, the integrator. And it's a huge challenge because it's an AV integrator in an IT world, and vice versa. And the people you're interfacing with on SVSI, on networked AV, on MVX, are different to your usual AV customer. The level of person in that organisation is a different person, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, me personally, I've had to learn an awful lot around just the lexicon, the language involved in networking, because I'm an AV person traditionally, right? So there's been a big learning curve, I think, for all of us in bringing an AV brand to essentially an IT infrastructure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, are you seeing from your wins that you're moving forward now, and obviously the early adopters? Obviously, you guys have got a global presence. Are you seeing that we're in the UK, we're running in tandem with other places like the States, or are we behind? Because I hear a lot of mixed messages that other people are just living and breathing it. They have teams that are just dedicated to just designing this. are we bringing up the rear, or are we too competitive in the UK that we're not winning?
I don't think so. No, I think that we're echoing what's going on in the US. I don't think we're behind at all. It's getting asked for a lot more within specifications, with tenders out there. People are aware of it. It's a new technology, and I don't think people are afraid of deploying this technology at all.
No, I'd agree with that. I think we're way ahead in Europe. We've had a little task force set up within Harman called obviously we call it the SVSI task force. Essentially, it's a group of people from our European organisation, mix of technical and salespeople, who are there to monitor and share best practice across Europe and monitor what we're doing. And it's quite clear the early results of that have been that the UK is quite a way ahead of the rest of Europe from what I'm gathering. Yeah. But I'd echo what you're saying there, Howard, that I think we take our lead from the States, both of us, and they always get the big projects. They always get we always hear about the first stadium done in SBSI. Well, it had to be in the States, didn't it? Yeah. But we've got a project coming up. It's a racecourse in Ireland. And that's going to be, I think, our first racecourse in SBSI. So these firsts are now happening because of where the market is. Yeah. And it's maturing at the moment.
So are you guys expecting that? Obviously, other products aren't going to go away completely. We've still got fixed architecture. But are you guys expecting that, maybe not this year, maybe year after or whatever it be, that even people are going to start using this for just smaller rooms, just a room that is a couple of inputs to a screen? Or are you still always going to expect that fixed kind of point to point?
No, absolutely. I think this can be deployed in smaller projects. You've got the whole kind of 1 gig, 10 gig argument thing going on. What people need to understand is 1 gig it's an what's that? 1 gig it's an IT standard, right? It's an IT standard for offices. Okay.
This is what we mean about AV learning IT.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
So 1 gig's an IT standard. So that's seen within offices, and it allows data access for printers and things like that over standard Cat5e cabling. Whereas 10 gig is used more within data centers to transfer large amounts of data. So it's there. We work with Gartner Research, who do a lot of research within IT, and 85% apparently of current networks are a Cat5e.
Yeah.
So where's that argument? It's already there. We're good to go. You'd have to change your network when you're deploying SSI or MPX.
And I suppose that was the scary thing, even a few years back when I started looking at some of this from other vendors that were available at ISE. A lot of them were bleating about how great it was, but dictating you had to have a 10 gig backbone. And like you said, if that number is right, 85% only on 1 gig, even if that was 50-60%, that's still a massive uplift then to throw something down what needs a 10 gig pipe. That was a scary thing. The fact now that we can do it over 1 gig.
With standard Cat5e infrastructure, you'd have to change that.
We're available to do so.
And that's obviously, and don't forget, that's 4K 60, 444 over that, just over that 1 gig.
This is my problem, right, on all of this, is that we go technical really quickly. So how do we make this AV over IP conversation more of a layman conversation?
Well, I think though it's always you're putting something on a company's network. So I think it's important to have those discussions with whoever's looking after that network, whichever customer you're dealing with, and just sit around the table and make sure they're happy with the deployment of it.
Yeah, but
it is a technical product.
I don't want to be funny about it, but there are some IT directors and IT managers in big businesses who don't know a lot about IT.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think it's important. I think it's important to get the principles across of the basic principles, which is that it's replacing, as Howard said earlier, fixed AV architecture, fixed AV infrastructure. That's what it's doing, but it's doing more than that as well, because it's enabling you to get high quality, i.e. 4K audio and video from A to B.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of all it is, really. So actually, you can simplify it, but I think. Yeah, you make a good point there, Howard, that you have, unfortunately, got to have somewhere along the line those sort of technical conversations.
Yeah.
Is this...
You just said that's all it is. Kev, I picked up on something recently, and it's been hurting my head ever since. Can somebody explain to me this thing about an AV over IP design eradicates the need for a video conference codec?
Oh, I'll leave that one to you, Kev, I think.
Stick a camera on
it. Genuinely, theoretically, you could. Theoretically, you could. Bear in mind, this is just encode, decode. What does a video conference system do? Encode, decode.
Yeah.
Theoretically, yes, you could. Camera on an encoder to a decoder at the other end. Camera on an encoder at endpoint B to a decoder at endpoint A. You've got your camera stream back and front.
Yeah.
You could also send the audio with it. Theoretically, yes, you can.
That's CCTV. It's rubbish. I don't buy into that at all. You're talking out your Harris there. I'm sorry. Carry on.
But genuinely, you actually could. Would I want to?
No.
I don't know. I think there's a lot more of the video infrastructure in the back end, and the gatekeeper registration, and
the control interface as well.
You've got things like USB 2 and RS232. So it's although it's doing video and audio over the network, you can do RS232 control, you can do USB 2 control. So it's making it a lot. It's not just transmitting that audio and video signal. There's a lot more code.
And on top of all that as well, you were saying USB, some of our products have got full KVM, haven't they? You know, yours have, ours have. You know, so it is far more than just almost kind of a transmitter and receiver on steroids.
So what we're saying then is that was a really bad idea.
The video.
I'm going to try it.
No.
I ain't going to give it to a customer. Don't you bloody worry.
So listen, on that note, well, have you got another question? One more question from Kev before we go then.
Well, I was just thinking about Noel's question about how people can go in. We've got account managers, some account managers, or most account managers can go in and talk about the kind of the beauty of it, the premise of it, the end goal. Are they still able to then, going off what Noel asked, still able to go in and do that, give the beautiful, pretty picture in the end goal, or are they always going to have that tech person with them when they go?
If they're trained, I mean, obviously, you know, Harman, you know, will have training courses on their products, as do we. It's just about getting the guys teed up and trained up to be able to have those, those conversations. You know, we do a full NVX design course. We do a whole networking course as well. So it's just about getting them trained up, you know, and having the vendor there if need be to help them along the way. Totally
agree, and I think you've got to liken it to every wave of new technology we've had in the industry over the years, and that's always required training. So, I mean, obviously, Involve, great example. You know, you're a specialist in video conferencing and visual communications and audio communications. Well, actually, once upon a time, people needed a lot of upskilling on that sort of product set.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and me included. Actually, I remember years ago when I had training on Polycom. You know, so I think we're only doing the same thing again, but with a different set of products here. And we're just training the industry, in line with changing trends in technology.
Cool. So, and we've got advice. We're going to end on advice. As an end user, you only want to be buying your AV over IP from somebody who's taken the training, from a real specialist with real specialist skills, right?
I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
And actually, that's how we set our stall out. I think again, wouldn't want to speak for Howard there, but definitely that's how we try to set our stall out and try to create a specialist channel for this sort of product.
Yeah, same. Training is key, absolute key to get people teed up and be able to talk about it out in the market.
We finished on advice. How's about that, guys? We start 2019 with actual advice. That's
Was this the first one? Have we actually achieved our goal?
Wow, who'd have thought?
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Richard and Howard for joining us. We did prove that as an industry we can play nicely. That was brilliant. Look forward to it. See you at the next one. See you again. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Cheers, guys.